Howdy, gang. Welcome back to Kingdom Come. Let's see, we just looked up a nursery rhyme because we didn't feel like riding back to listen to the man more closely. But apparently timing is important for making steel stronger, which is actually very true. As is refiring it or whatever. There's just a silly way of teaching us a real historical thing that people went through. It's probably discovered completely by accident just like that, but probably not the same way. We also did like an exorcism in a home, and we're supposed to come back in a day or so to see how that worked out. What else are we doing? Fire after Timmy at the windmill. We could go after Timmy. In fact, maybe we should, because I mean, he's being hunted. Just kind of a race against time, innit? If I remember correctly, Timmy actually takes us up to the mines around Skalitz, so we can go look for the treasure in the Dovekut. Beggar's Feast, jumps on the river. Scavenger, I think it is. One. Can go look for that. And what's up with this map marker? Why did I put this here? Just so I wouldn't get lost? Sure. We're going towards A. Point A. It's been about 2 weeks. Schedule just hasn't been very friendly to me, but here we are. 2 weeks later. That does mean I have to finish a couple games, though. I have stuff to talk about. I believe it's 3 things. And 1 anime. I think it's actually going to be even on the roast to praise ratio. So, I don't know, I have that to look forward to. I feel like I'm usually very positive about most games, though when I have one to roast, I go pretty in-depth about it. And sadly, those are also the ones that I leave reviews for. So, yeah, I've wasted like an hour or so writing a review for a game. It's way too long. Nobody's gonna read it, but people actually will, because my reviews get plenty of upvotes, because I am, again, detailed, and I should really do more of them. It just feels like such a waste of time, though, because I do it so rarely, like... I know you can make yourself a curator or whatever on Steam, and that's ideally what I'd do. Set up like a freaking PayPal link. It'll be like, hey, you do good shit, bro. And like, hey, I didn't waste my time finally. Just like here. Except here I'm playing a video game, so I'm not wasting my time regardless. I'm having fun. I don't know why I opened the map. It's right here on my compass. I knew where I was going. Oh, yes, that must be the windmill. Tell by the windmill. Probably the only windmill in the whole game. Keep your eyes open, see if it's true. Might be. And it's probably a pretty advanced piece of technology right here. How much grain could possibly go into one windmill? Or, you know what I mean. How much could really be brought here for this to not just get rid of all of it in a day? You probably don't need too many of them. Anybody here? Or anything I can steal? Ah, yes, this looks very stealable. On the experience. No. Are they like eating breakfast or something? What time of day is it? Oh, here they are. He is eating breakfast. Urka.
I'm looking for a colossus by the name of Timmy.
Urka.
I heard he works here.
I don't know anyone like that.
I don't know anyone like that, Henry. Looks like my station is my best bet. Except threatening, but I'd rather not.
I'm here in the service of Sir Hanush.
Sir Hanush? Jesus Christ! It must be serious. Alright, but not here.
Right.
We'll talk round the back, behind the mill.
Suck you off behind the mill, just please leave me alone. Putting a broom away or what? This ain't behind the mill. You know what? I think I was right on the money, except the other mills are like hand mills. They aren't done with wind power. This thing is self-running, whereas the other ones need to be pushed by man or animal. They started calling it a mill that freaking made me remember that. We live with a freaking miller. This must be a newish facility then. Plus, it's also probably pretty expensive to get all those paper sheets.
Here I am. So, why all the secrecy?
What do you want from Timmy?
Can you tell me where to
I want
find
to save
him?
his goddamn life.
Promise me nothing will happen to him.
Trying to make that happen.
He's my brother. He's not very smart, you see, and he's always getting led astray by his no-good friends. And now there's some right peculiar characters looking for him.
Who are they?
You.
I don't know. But they look like cutthroats, and they said some strange things. But I didn't tell
If we're gonna
them
cut his
anything.
throat.
That's good. But sooner or later they'll find him anyway. Tell me where he is and I'll take care of him.
Oh shit, I forgot about this. These guys are actually like armored. Yeah, this homie's got chainmail. That guy's got a scaly helmet, I want that. Nice sword. Nice porn stash.
I get the feeling you're looking for someone here. I'm looking for someone too. Maybe we could help each other.
Who are you looking for?
And who are you looking for?
A great big ox by the name of Timmy.
Oh, I'm looking for a great big ox by the name of Daddy. Maybe you could help with that?
That's interesting. I'm also looking for a big ox called Timmy.
Well, what are the chances? Could it be the same fellow, I wonder?
Nah.
Now, if someone were to tell me where to find Timmy, I might offer that man a job. We could use a smart fellow like that at the camp.
Yeah, I actually don't want to fight these guys because they look really well equipped. And it'd also make me feel bad if I just picked up a thing of chainmail after spending so much money on my nice new coat.
I hear he's hiding in Ratai.
Oh, yeah? Where in Ratai?
Your mom's house, bro.
They're his kids.
Oh,
Well, excuse me if I take that with a grain of salt. I'll just leave Radan here to keep an eye on you. For your own protection, you know. Come with us if you got the stomach for it. If not, come and find us in the Samapesh Tavern when it's all over. Or we'll find you.
Samopesh
Come on,
Tavern?
boys.
I have no idea where that is. Is there a town called Samopesh? Alright, well, I got rid of 3 of them. That'll make this easier. Best equipped ones, too. If I remember it correctly, I can, like, do this relatively quickly and hunt them down afterwards. So, General Radon? Ever played Elden Ring? Because I played it, like, 4 times. Radon's my bitch. Russian, everything here's pretty junk. Take his bow, lockpick. Not always worth. Miserable existence. Okay, who's trying to die? Where's Ratai? South? Probably want to take the road. Oh, this road in south. And look for these assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up and down like the fiends they are. Skid 'em. Get myself a new coat.
Yeah.
They're probably on this road. I doubt that I haven't already passed them. But I'm gonna check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, there's no way they made it this far on foot. I probably missed them or lost them. It don't matter. I'm curious to see if they'll come and actually track me down later or not anyways, so it's fine. Didn't you say to leave 2 with me, though? I only killed 1 guy.
Yeah.
I swore it away.
Yeah.
Guy doesn't look friendly. You friendly, bro? No. The Kuman. The most metapod. I use Harden. Batalo. Oh, bacon, nice. Human van braces, probably the most valuable thing because it's metal. Rose, you love to see it. Ah, big salami and smoked sausage. Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah.
Whose horse is this? It's not mine. Can I, like, steal his fun stuff, or what? This is very weird. That actually looks a lot like other save file pebbles. Pretty sure I did keep pebbles for the whole game last time. He's fast enough. Not really a reason to buy another horse, but you can.
Yeah.
Maybe if you use them in combat a lot, but why would I do that? Horse combat's just not fun. Fucking blows. You just like blindly swing at guys you can barely see until they eventually unhorse you, and then you just get fucked up while you try to stand back up.
How fare you?
Or
Huh.
put a particle effect in the bucket. Did she tell me where her brother is or what? Did. Cutscene just like interrupted the whole thing and broke the flow. How am I on hunger? 85. That means I have 15 points I can fill. Like that, exactly 15. We've earned some bacon. Your dog boy would have liked that too, but he ain't getting no bacon, that's mine. I need to remove that map marker. Ah, freaking bushes. The only game that acknowledges that you can't just walk right through them because they have freaking thick ass branches still.
Yeah.
Scratch that. You can't walk through any bush that isn't a hedge maze. Because those bushes are hedge mazes. Therefore, they are walls. Stronger than uranium.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get into this damn forest. Is this an opening? Is this an opening? I think it may be. Nope, it is not. There's half an opening.
Yeah.
You can't just go sticking your whole horse wherever it might fit. You be sure about that stuff or you'll just be embarrassed. More embarrassed than doing shitty accents because you talk smoother. Is this it? Sure, I'll drop it eventually. But I also possibly won't. Oh, well, the shack behind this shack, but can I break into this shack? I cannot. This shack is it's a facade. Hey, it's Timmy.
Hey, Timmy.
Timmy!
How are you today?
I'm all right.
The fucking
So we
potato.
met?
We have
There's
now.
his beard.
Huh? Oh, shit. What do you want? It wasn't me. I didn't... I mean... Shit.
It.
I saw what you did at Neuhof.
What are you talking about? You weren't there. I mean, I wasn't there.
Don't waste your breath. You were there with Limpy Lubosh and Riki. I heard all about it.
What do you want from me?
Your mate Hinnock told me about a whole camp full of those horse huns. And I want to find it. I need to find it.
Yeah, but why should I trust you, though? I'm not stupid. You might be one of them.
I want that club.
Pretending to not be one of them. Trying to catch me out. I won't tell you nothing.
Seems like my station.
Do I look like someone who goes around hunting down half-wits for pleasure?
No, I reckon not. But I don't know where their camp is.
That's a load of horse shit. Hinnock told me you were there and that Pius warned you to keep your mouth shut. You must know something.
Well, once I was
With a
there
powerful
with them,
finger
yeah.
point.
Only I was pretty drunk, so I'm not too sure.
Try to remember.
It was in the woods. In some kind of woods. You know, with trees and stuff. There were some wrecked houses there and all. In the woods. A
Gotcha.
church. There was a church there. Kind of a broken one, though.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. Now it's all clear to me. Do you remember which way you went?
It was straight north from Talmberg. When you go uphill from the castle, there's a path there round some barns, I think. It leads to the woodcutters' camp. If you go further on past the woodcutters, you come across this abandoned house. Can't miss it. Looks like a house, only abandoned. Go to the left there and carry on till you come to this clearing with a big beech tree. Or was it an oak? You go left there again. There's this narrow path and you go straight along there. Sometimes it splits up. You just keep to the left until you come to a crossroads by this big flat rock. You keep straight on there. After a while, you'll see a bridge. And it's right there. Easy as you please.
Better than nothing, I suppose.
But you
That was
won't tell
painful to
nobody
listen
about
to.
Neuhof, right?
So
You
slow.
promised. Oh no, bugger. I meant to make you promise, but I forgot.
Okay, so, like, I like that he gave you actual directions so you can figure this shit out for yourself if you really wanted to. But also, this is a whole-ass town we're looking for. Like, there was a church built here. It's really impossible to miss if you just go, like, kind of around Talmberg. And you gotta confess,
You
boy.
took part in that massacre, Timmy. People got killed and the farm was burned down. You can't expect to get away with it just like that. Come with me to Ratai. They'll know what to do with you there.
No. I won't go anywhere with you. They'd hang me.
What do you expect? That you can join a gang of robbers to go thieving, murdering and burning and nothing will happen to you? Come with me, and at least you'll die like an honest Christian.
Never. You might as well kill me here and now.
God will punish you.
The Lord sees you, so who am I to judge you? Your sins will come back to haunt you yet.
I don't know, he's probably part of the group that didn't want to murder anybody. And I steal too, so, I can't judge him. I have no right. He did get caught though. That's what separates me from him.
Yeah.
Fuck. Military camp. And my quest marker is right here too. Really? That's like way too convenient. Right here, right next to the objective. So Radzig, I am been a good boy. Please pay me.
God bless you. What troubles you?
Sir, I've been to Ujitz, and the parish priest there is very odd indeed. He's very handy with a sword. Do you know anything about him, sir?
Godwin? Aye, an intriguing fellow. He's the youngest son of one of the lords of Kuttenberg. He was sent to the university to become a priest, as is customary with the youngest son. But he didn't much care for it. So when he finished studying, instead of taking up his parish, he went roaming. I imagine he had a pretty adventurous life. And then one day he came back and settled down. Hanush would know more about him.
I have some news about the investigation, sir.
Good. Tell me.
The trail leads to Ujitz. I found out one of the bandits is from there, a fellow they call Limpy Lubosh.
I see. What else?
I went to Ujitz, where they told me I could find Lubosh, only someone had murdered him. It seems they're trying to cover their tracks and get rid of witnesses.
Indeed. The whole affair's becoming ever more suspicious. Have you any further clues?
I found out about another one of them, a crony of Limpy Lubosh's. They call him Riki, and he comes from Ledechko.
You're doing a good job, but you need to be careful. Have you found this Riki fellow?
I know I can, like, skip all of this, but you get speech experience for going through it. Seems you get it for just any talking you do, so you should always ask all the questions if you feel like it.
I'm afraid my news isn't good, sir.
I might have expected as much. Tell me the worst.
This Riki fellow was hiding out in the woods, and his former accomplices really did want to kill him, because he, Limpy Lubosh and others deserted them in Neuhof. It seems they wanted no part in the killing. Anyway, Riki told me they were hired by a bandit they call Runt. He's the one who stole your sword. Those murdering whoresons weren't after loot. They just wanted to do damage. And the worst thing is, they have an encampment in the area, and they're getting ready to make more trouble.
Sakra. Anything else?
That's all I've found out so far, sir.
All right. Come back and report to me as soon as you learn anything new.
I've learned something new.
About that encampment, sir.
What is it, lad?
I found out about the camp from another of the bandits who deserted. He's called Timmy. Big fellow, but more brawn than brain. The camp is an abandoned village in the woods to the west of Talmberg.
Good work, lad. Have you been to check it out? Do you know how many of them there are?
I don't know much apart from where it is.
We really need to find out more. Could you go back there and try to discover anything that could help us in the assault? The more we know, the better. And if you could carry out some sabotage while you're in there, it would be invaluable. But don't take any unnecessary risks. I don't want to lose you.
Certainly, sir. That is... I'll do what I can.
That's what I like to hear. You'll be our eyes and ears, lad. Our success will depend on what you find out. Go, and get back here as soon as you can. Meanwhile, I'll muster my men.
I'll find out what I can and be right back.
Take care now.
Alright, so this is a stealth mission. That you can find like stashes of arrows and burn them. I believe you can poison their soup pots, and there's some other thing you can do. There's like 3 sabotages you can do. I think you just get experience for taking care of that stuff. I'm not sure if it makes the actual assault any easier, because you're still gonna fight a ton of dudes. And you can actually kill one of the guys like outside and take his armor, make things a bit easier to sneak around, but people are also gonna try and talk to you, and they're gonna do it in Hungarian. So that obviously doesn't work out too well. You can kind of bluff your way through with speech a few times, but it happens way too often to really be a reliable strategy. And, I don't know, I'm just expecting a lot to go wrong. Definitely a lot went wrong, and I kind of just backed out after discovering it the first time I played. And the second time, you know, after I lost my save file, like a little bit after that mission the first time, started again, and I knew more about the game. The second time I got there, I was actually strong, and I ended up fighting the entire camp, which made it really weird when we came back, and I fought another army. Fighting the camp was a huge pain in the ass too. A lot of kiting, dragging people outside the borders, trying to do one-on-ones, stabbing. But I did kill all of them. And there was obviously way too much loot for me to possibly carry back, so it wasn't really worth it, aside from the experience.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, what do you think a dove cut is? We're about to find out. I was thinking it'd be like a little footbridge over a small river stream type thing. Not quite enough to be a river or a creek, just a little stream.
Great.
But it looks like it's inside the town, so that's probably not it. What's going on here? Whoa!
Got weak at the knees, have you? What are you doing?
What's the matter? Come on!
Life, are you?
Woo! Oh, yeah, that guy died. I died. That was fucked up. I'm not sure that what I'm looking for is even in the borders, but like, those guys had some of the best equipment you can get. Yeah, we ain't going over there. Going here to Talmberg. Oh, you know what? While we're in the area, got the, I think it's Steve's Wojcik. Steal some things. Piss off what's his face? Robard. Right, we have a lot of arrows on us. Wait, I don't. Hunting arrow. Distance. Human bow's actually a good find. I think I probably want these. I can't imagine I fire more than 20 shots. Has it been a half hour yet? It has, it has. Alright, we'll start with a roast. Game roast. We played ReCore. I believe I found like a boxed set for the definitive edition at like a Target or a Walmart or something. So that's how I got it. I got the definitive edition. I knew the game existed because it was an Xbox exclusive, but I obviously didn't get to play it because I didn't have an Xbox, and that obviously came to PC eventually. But, you know, it was on the Windows Store for the longest time before it was finally on Steam, and, like, by then it was in Target or whatever. Wherever I got it. So, you know, it wasn't on my list of things to do, but I wanted to play it when I saw it, I guess. And I finally got around to it. This game is made by Retro Studios of Donkey Kong Country Returns and Metroid Prime fame. And also Mr. I don't know your first name, Inafune of Mega Man and Mighty Number 9 fame. So the funny story with him is he takes credit for, like, being the soul behind Mega Man, right? Like, you know, everybody's got their lead developer, and the game is obviously his vision. And if somebody else was in charge, it would have been a very different game. The thing is, I don't think Inafune was the lead developer of any of the Mega Man games. I'm pretty sure he just, like, came up with the concept, which, like, that's trash. Nobody needs an idea, man. Everybody can come up with an idea for a game. And, like, he did the artwork, too, I think. Probably concept art for some other stuff. Like, it's his IP. But he's, like, not the reason Mega Man's good. So when he tried to make the Mighty Number 9, it was just like, this looks like Mega Man, and like there's ideas here that could be a good game, but like it plays like ass, and it's kind of ugly, and it's very unoriginal feeling. And yeah, that's when he became known as a hack. And he's still trying to make games. Obviously, ReCore came after the Mighty Number 9 incident, but yeah, I'm not a fan of this man. And ReCore very much feels similar in how soulless it is. What do you want to talk about, Guard?
You're the young fellow who came here from Skalitz, half dead, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be me. Why?
The lady of the castle was asking after you. She wants to talk to you.
Ah, I'll go and see her then. Thank you.
Very well. Don't make her wait. Farewell.
Ah, crap. What am I stealing? 5 Waffenfrucks. From the armory. Is the armory, like, on the walls? Is that where I got my shit the first time? Or... The keys. That's probably Robard hanging out on the walls. I think this is where I got my stuff before. I can get in here easy. Maybe they locked it up better since I stole stuff the first time.
Are you? You! What the hell are you fooling around here for? Be off right now.
I'm sorry. I know I can get in from the back easier. Right. So... really, like, the reason I want to roast it specifically is because it was an exclusive. That means that it had, like, funding from Microsoft. It had a big budget. They had a whole team of, like, one of the most advanced tech companies of people they could have sent over. Like, publishers aren't just money either. They send over specialists for things like this, too. If someone needs help making multiplayer, they might seek out a publisher. Because they'll have guys who know how to implement multiplayer into a single-player game like that. So, like, with whatever budget, with whatever specialists were available, they just, like, failed to make anything worthwhile. The game has, like, a 59 Metacritic rating, I think. And, that feels about right. I'd give it, like, a 6 out of 10. Granddad's old sword. What the fuck? So, premise. Earth went to shit. We built, like, space...
Right now. Are you out of your mind?
Hello?
You! Stop right where you are!
Damn it.
You'll get what for. Someone saw you stealing.
They saw me
you won't
picking a
forget
lock.
this in a hurry, because it'll take a nice pile of coins.
Don't fuck with me.
Are you pulling my pizzle? Don't you know who I am? You better watch.
Yanking my cock, bro?
I'll make things so hot for you, you'll be lucky to get a job slopping out piss pots.
But I was just... You misunderstood me. Sorry. You can go.
Yeah, that's right. Walk away, bitch. Right, so we built space arcs, and we sent like teams of engineers ahead before things got too bad on Earth to go and terraform a planet. These engineers have fancy new robots called core bots, and they were supposed to do most of the groundwork while the humans stayed in cryostasis and came out to check on things occasionally. And that didn't work out. You wake up and the planet's still a desert, and some of the bots have gone crazy, and it's definitely not terraformed, and you can't really find too many other people out looking for stuff, so it's very likely that they all died, and you're trying to figure out why, and get things back on track, I guess. And, you know, that's fine. That's an okay premise for a game, sure. Though, again, not very original. And, like, you can even guess what happened. The new robots destroyed all humans, because that's what robots do. And, like, I don't know, there's not much of a story there. Turns out you're the daughter of the guy who invented the robots, and the robots have like a fancy new AI core that's supposed to replicate a human personality. Except in order to keep them from wanting to destroy all humans, he made it so they only embody one attribute. And then he made like duplicates of these cores. So one of them's like brave, one of them's kind of timid, another one's I don't know, adventurous or something. Two of them seem very similar. But his partner, the other scientist, made one that's just like a copy of his brain. And that was like the prototype, I guess. And that one was like out in the wild. And that's the one that decided that humans need to be destroyed. To protect the project, of course. In order to keep the planet from getting screwed up by humans, the humans need to be destroyed, even though the whole point was to make a new home. So, you know, bit of a misunderstanding on their part, but that's how programming works. It does exactly what you tell it to. And yeah, I don't feel bad spoiling anything about this story, because I don't recommend that you play the game. It was not very fun. Put that back, I guess. And again, there wasn't much story at all, because all of what I just told you is told you through audio logs. What you actually get in-game, you start off, you're walking with RoboDog, and you go back to your little base, you buy an upgrade for him, and then you go back to keep checking things out, figure out why the terraforming is not happening. You know that's what the issue was. A little bit after you've played some, once you get to the freaking factory where the inciting incident happens, you figure out that they were terraforming stuff. And in that factory, you find a prismatic core, which looks like a little freaking sphere. A polygonal sphere with all the colors in it. It's actually very difficult to look at, because it hurts my eyes. And you pick that up, and it starts turning stuff on. And you're like, wow, I have no idea what the fuck this is, but it turns stuff on, so I'm gonna go turn everything on with this thing. Which is really weird, because it seems like everything, like very important pieces of this project rely on these things, and there are multiple of them. But somehow you, daughter of the man who set up this whole freaking project, has no idea what the fuck these things are. But yeah, you go collect them. The game's actually a collect-a-thon. So, like, you collect P-cores and new parts for your robots. Or you collect blueprints as well as scrap, which you use to make parts in a very long-winded, stupid system. And you collect V-Bucks. Which seem very inconsequential. I never had any need for them. Like, you use them to build stuff, but, like, you never have a need for them. There's just way too much of it to go around. It's shitty. Yeah, you go to a factory, then you go to another factory, turn things on, and then you find out you gotta go to the main factory and turn that back on. You get railroaded into all that in about, like, 8 hours. You meet one other human. He allegedly dies, but spoilers, he's alive at the end of the credits. Which, yeah, they really thought they could make a sequel to this freaking lame-ass game. Dude, I'm supposed to talk to the lady. Then you run into the talking robot, which of course has the core of Victor. Victor's his name, which the other scientist likes to reference Frankenstein a lot. Calls himself a mad scientist, so Victor is very obvious that the core was a thing of him if you listen to the audio logs. But if you didn't, then you just know this guy's a talking robot. He doesn't tell you what his motivations are or anything. He just doesn't like you. Then you fight him, then you go through some fucking Kaizo Mario platforming at the end of the game, fight him again, and then he dies very unceremoniously, and a hologram of your dad shows up to give some short exposition, and the game ends like that. If you didn't pick up any of the audio logs, which again, they are all optional, that's all you get. Like, you don't know any of the background to this stuff, you just killed a talking robot and turned some stuff on. And your dad showed up and he's like, hey, I'm dead. But you're not. Thank you.
What do you want? You've no business here.
Where's the lady?
What are you doing here?
Pretty sure this is her room. She's not around though. It'd help if I turned on her thing. Look for the green marker. She is in here. Different room. Hey, my lady, Stephany. Hey.
God save. Can I help you with anything?
I heard you wanted to talk to me, my lady.
It's true. I need something from you.
How can I help?
My cousin, young Sophie, is going to be wed. It will be an entry into a new life, and I want everything to be perfect for her. I'm looking for a few things to give her as a gift, and you're going to find them for me.
My lady, why me?
Normally I'd let the Chamberlain take care of it, but he doesn't have any taste. I can't trust him with this. And I've been told no task is too challenging for you. Is that not true?
That is true.
It will be my honor, my lady.
I need you to pick up an ornamental crown from Sasau for Sophie, wine from a merchant in Ratai, and a roan from the stable in Ujitz.
Who am I supposed to pick up the wine from?
From Conrad Hagen in Ratai. He's the only person in the whole region who can supply a genuinely good wine. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Here you go. That should be enough.
I'm sure you drink a lot.
And the ornamental crown?
I had the engravers in Sasau make it, but now they've written to say it will take a while longer. That just won't do. The wedding is almost upon us, and I need it. Go and see Master Jeronim Slesky and pick it up.
You said
Slesky.
roan from Ujitz.
Precisely. It's a beautiful animal. Wait till you see it. Dietrich said he'd ride it here himself, but I can already imagine how he'll end up killing himself on that horse. But you, so young and vigorous.
What's you?
Wine, a roan, and a crown. I can handle that.
Thank you, Henry. I just wish there were others here I could trust so well. May the Lord watch over you.
Okay, so there wasn't much story. What was there is fairly generic and also just like told poorly, because the game doesn't really reward you for collecting things. In fact, it feels very like empty when you collect things. There's no audio-visual feedback or anything. You just pick it up and it's like gone. Makes a little not like a satisfying sound or anything. No flashy effects, no rumble, nothing. Now, there are little, like, pieces of scrap dotted around the map, like coins in a Mario game, and, like, those are pretty pointless to pick up because you get those from combat. There's nothing special about them. There are chests you can open, which usually contain blueprints and, like, money and stuff. There are, of course, more prismatic cores you can collect. You do get railroaded right into the final dungeon. However, when you get to the final dungeon, it's going to tell you you need like 30 of them, which you obviously did not pick up doing the main dungeons. So you're going to have to go out and explore just a little bit. And that's basically what I did. I went to go engage with the other content, see if any of it's worth it, and it was not. This is the one I wrote a review for in Steam, by the way, so, like, this stuff is better written in way too long text. Somewhere over there. Wait, is this the thickest thieves over here, the sea? Or is that Ushits? Okay, so, like, why is it boring? Well, for one, you're on a desert planet, and that's all there is to it. It's just, like, boring to look at. There's brown rocks and white sand on the surface. Some broken down factories here and there. And then the dungeons are caves factories and cave factory hybrids. Everything is, like, very samey. Eye searing white. Just big empty deserts. Big empty spaces, too. Like, you just move a little too slow. And the game's a platformer, which you'd expect good platforming controls from Retro Studios to make Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is fantastic. And it just feels not good. Like, you move a little too slow. You have, like, a ground dash you can do to move fast, and you can do a double jump. And, like, they don't tell you that, but this shit's required to do optional dungeons and the final thing, because it's so freaking difficult, but if you ground dash off a platform, you then have the ability to do a dash in the air as well. And if you didn't jump, then you also have the ability to jump twice while airborne. So you need to learn that shit on your own, even though it seems ridiculous. And then there are a couple platforming gimmicks, like little loops you can fly through, which will refresh your double jump and air dash.
Yeah.
What else is there? Moving platforms you'll encounter occasionally. Some of them have like a little force field on it, so you have to shoot it first to make it stop moving. And then it'll come back in a few seconds. There are like little rail tracks that you can use one of your robot companions on to like zipline you across stuff, basically. And even that doesn't feel good, which is really sad, because, like, the camera does not follow it very well, and then when it reaches the end of the track, it flings you off, and you have no idea where you're supposed to be trying to land. That's about it. There's not too much going on with the platforming aside from that. It doesn't evolve at all beyond getting that one robot companion. Or actually, there's a flyer bot you can get to, which lets you glide. Though there are very few cases where you'll need that to cross a gap. You'll just see like an air geyser occasionally, and you can use that to like make yourself fly up. And that's all they're really good for. In fact, all the bots just have very specific use cases. You have a muscle man who can smash certain things, a dog who can dig up dig spots, the spider who can spider on their tracks, and the definitive edition added a tank which can go over quicksand.
What's up? Shit yourself.
Hold on. You stay up.
Fucker!
You guys good? Oh, their guard's nice. A bandage, a corruption.
What's that?
Stuff's valuable.
What's that there? Ah, this will come in handy. Hey!
You know, that wouldn't be such a detriment. All the robots have a use case. That means that you'll want to use all of them or whatever. However, you can only have 2 of them with you at once, which is really stupid. So you're supposed to go out and explore these big empty spaces. And when you get to whatever destination you're trying to get to, there's a solid chance you're not going to have the guy that you need with you to do whatever puzzle or whatever is there. I say puzzle because I explained our use cases to you. You're just going to push one button and then he's going to dig up the core, or he's going to smash the wall and reveal core. Or you're going to fly up a thing and there's going to be a chest with a core. Oh shit, you can't carry more. What kind of spurs do I have? Night spurs. These are better. Cool, cool. 20 vitality. Unman, dustbin, reserve. When his health falls, the minimum you go berserk, stamina reach 4 times faster. That's cool. Like that. Right, what was I saying? Right, so you can only have 2 of them out at once, and that means that you have to walk to a fast travel point to swap them out. And, alright, I'll give them points, because to, like, go build out new robot parts or whatever, or to empty your inventory, you have to fast travel back to your base, which is just like a pointless loading screen to go look in a menu, or you go back to wherever you were with another loading screen. Again, to go look in a menu, like, this stuff is all UI. You do not need to go travel back to the base to look in a fucking menu, but alright. But they do let you switch out your companions just by going to a fast travel point, even though there's no reason that you shouldn't just be able to hit a fucking button and swap between the 4 of them, or 3. I can understand needing to go to the fast travel point to switch out the frame that they're in, because there's 5 frames available, and you only have 3 AI cores as companions. But you only get to keep 2 of them with you, not even 3. I don't get it. Yeah, platforming is like mediocre. Exploration itself is just bad because the world is uninteresting, and there aren't very many, like, platforming gimmicks anyways. It's just annoying when you get somewhere and you have to go walk somewhere else because you didn't have the correct guy with you. The game is technically an RPG. You level up when you kill enemies. The leveling up is uninteresting too. You have one gun. It's like a rapid-fire machine gun. And, you hold the button down too long, it becomes less accurate. It has a recharging energy meter for ammo. And you can get new colors that you fire with it. And those colors can apply an elemental effect. So those are what's on the D-pad. You have 4 colors. Leveling up increases the damage that you do. That's all it does. Health pickups are found as a collectible. I forgot to mention that. You get very minuscule health pickups. And your companions can level up too. Which, here's something I thought was really stupid. The companions don't share an XP meter. Like, all 3 of them have their own XP. However, they don't need to be active to gain XP. So when you get it, the first guy is just always going to be the highest level, and then the second guy, and then the third guy. For no reason. And all that leveling up does for them is increase the stat cap on their 3 attributes, which you have to dump the junk that you get from killing enemies into. The stats are very basic. There's attack, defense, and energy. Energy is your ability to cast their special attack, aka the only thing that you do is actually useful. So it's the most important one. And each frame has a different special attack. Again, credit where it's due. You can hold the button to slowly dump points in and do it level by level, or you can just hit X and dump as much as is possible to bring them to whatever their current max is. And I appreciated that save of time. However, we're going to talk about the robot building. Obviously, you need to collect blueprints, so when you're out exploring older areas, you're probably going to be getting stuff that you've out-leveled. And most of the blueprints you get are going to be useless. So you just, like, build whatever's current, rather than setting up the matching sets, which is what they want you to do. Because you get a small bonus to your 3 lame-ass stats when you make a matching set. So I found it much better to just make the best possible stuff and have better numbers than have slightly faster recharge time or slightly faster pickup time if it gets knocked out. When you get the scrap parts, you get like 3 tiers, bronze, silver, and gold. You can combine some of the lower tiers to make a higher tier, or you can break them down for whatever you need to make whatever part you're trying to make. Then you spend that and the money, which again, the money is like, it's so nothing, you always have so much of it, it's not a factor. Then you make new parts for each of your individual frames and equip them in a separate menu. What's stupid about this is you can't see how the new part you're making compares to the ones that you already have. You kind of just have to figure it out yourself. And then when you go into the equip menu, there's a comparison thing when you're actually equipping it after you built the thing, which just makes it all the stupider.
Note. It would take a while to get across, and there's nowhere to shelter from arrows.
Hey, Michinalo! Batalo! So, like, it's a slow and cumbersome process to figure out what you should actually be building, especially when the parts you have are, like, so scarce that you're only gonna build one thing per set. Or per frame. Then you'll come back to it in a couple hours because it's so bothersome you don't want to do it as often as you get new stuff. Occasionally you'll find like a joke part that you won't have to build, like a little propeller beanie hat or a zombie head. I'm probably gonna die here. I found it unenjoyable, and then not only that, you can't, like, all the parts you get are in, like, very, one color, monotone. So you build, like, red legs, and then you won't be able to afford the red body, and try and make a matching set or whatever, so you'll make, like, the white body instead, and then you'll get the yellow head, and then the green butt plug, and you put all that together, and you just have a really stupid-looking robot. Some of the designs are kind of cool, but the paint jobs are just, like, so and they kind of ruin it when they don't mesh color-wise like that.
A moat. It would take a while to get across, and there's nowhere to shelter from arrows.
Itt épp egy malacka tévedt a disznóölésre.
Ah, shit. Ah, shit.
Mit csinálsz ott? Ezért...
Dude. I thought about taking a nap when I was at the woodcutter shack, if that was even an option. That's why I, like, stopped there and be like, 'cause I saw the sun was going down. I didn't want to be here in the fucking dead of night. But I went for it anyway. I might have to just hit the wait button. Or I can try and sneak in, an option. Attack, why don't I do that? Let's get naked. Aww. Yeah, baby, naked. Pretty sure that's a Pitbull song. It was something like that.
A moat. It would take a while to get across, and there's nowhere to shelter from arrows.
Right, so building robots just sucks. It's not fun, and you're usually not gonna have the parts you need to make shit anyways. Not to mention the parts are level locked too, so like, aside from like picking up blueprints for stuff that you don't even want to build, you'll be able to build stuff that you won't be able to use right away, which makes no sense. Like, I got the part, I'm in the area that needs me to be that level, just let me use it, man. But no, you'll be level locked, and then you'll come back in an hour when you're able to build better stuff, and you just won't even want the thing that you built anymore. Man, there's like a broken shack right here or something you can enter through. I turn on my damn light.
A stockade. A handful of men could hold it for quite a while.
So, mediocre platforming, robot building sucks, and that was probably one of the core appeals of the game. Collecting is uninteresting, and that's the main thing you're doing. All that stuff to talk about is, like, combat, really. Which is also just, it's okay, but I wish there was more to it. First off, enemy variety is terrible. It makes sense in universe that you're fighting, you know, construction bots have been corrupted. Their AI cores are messed up. So you're fighting the 5 frames that you get to build as your robot companions. So there's an ape frame, a dog frame,
Those heathens are a lot tidier than the bandits.
a flyer, and a tank, and a spider. And they're also like these little fucking worthless fly enemies, and that's it. And you have the clean ones, and they have the spiky ones. And they all have different colors, which is, your core companions have different colors too. And there's a reason for that. Remember how I said you get elemental attacks? You're not supposed to do opposite colors and use a little brain power. No, you're supposed to color match. So you're fighting a red enemy, you use the red bullets to hurt it, which you'll do like 3 times as much damage, so you're always going to use the correct color. If you do a charged shot, you will apply the status effect, and that is also used to break shields instantly. And like, each color has a unique status effect, like the red one does burning and the blue one does shock. But there's no reason to stack status effects, because again, you do like 3 times as much damage when you just use the correct color. So you're never gonna do that.
Hey, kívánok!
Sometimes you'll find enemies that are mixed colors, like you'll get a purple, which is of course red and blue.
Istenem! Vigyázz! Ott!
I'd like to see you try shooting these.
Látjátok? Ellenség!
Ott ti! Látjátok? Ott az a genyláda!
Damn.
Vigyázz! Látom az ellenséget!
Right, so when you find a mixed color enemy, you can obviously use either red or blue bullets on it, and they'll work fine. And then, the only thing that might trip you up is it'll occasionally switch between one of the extremes. So the purple enemy can go full red or full blue, and that'll make you switch up your bullets. Ooh. There's nothing for you to worry about, like, defensively. You might want to switch out your companion to color match, but, there are like 4 colors, and you only get to 2 bots, so you don't really have to worry about that.
It would take a while to get across, and there's nowhere to shelter from arrows.
Basically, you just hold down the shoot button until your ammo is drained. It becomes more accurate the longer you hold the button, as I said. However, even if you're barrel stuffing, that accuracy is just like a flat chance that the thing's getting hit, I guess, because your bullets actually colliding with the enemy doesn't seem to matter. Your damage output overall just goes down as the accuracy decreases. And even though you can't really aim, this is more of a lock-on and dodge type of game. They decided to introduce enemies to have like a platinum armor coating, and you're supposed to try and aim for their core specifically to try and hurt them, and it just doesn't work at all. And you'll just like, you'll hit them randomly, you'll chip out their health over a very long period of time. So that's where you get the other mechanic, extracting. So everything's health bar is split into segments, and when you get down to a certain segment, you'll be able to extract, which is a tug-of-war minigame you can do for an auto kill. And it'll also give you the ReCore, which you can turn into big juice you can dump in for stats. You have a very small inventory for that stuff too. Did I mention the inventory is small? Yeah, you're gonna be out collecting stuff, and like you're gonna have to empty out your inventory constantly because it has a size limit for no reason. It's not like you can equip any of this crap. You just, or sell it for that matter. You should just be able to hold all of it, but you can't. It's stupid. Right, so you can also have like a combo meter. Every 10 points of combo, you're able to get an instant extract, aka an instant kill, and you don't need to lower our guy's health for that. So basically, whenever I run into an armored guy, I just kill everything else until I'm able to auto kill him, because I don't want to waste my time trying to randomly hit his correct spots.
A stockade. A handful of men could hold it for quite a while.
And when I say a combo of 10, I don't mean you have to kill 10 enemies. That'd be ridiculous. Every segment of the bar you destroy gives 1 point of combo. So you'll end up fighting like 3 enemies, or maybe you'll kill 10 of the little fly things. Why can I not find this entrance? And those guys just aren't fun. The only remotely interesting enemy in the game was, of course, the final boss, and even he wasn't very interesting. The only cool thing about him is that he was a transformer, and he would switch his body type constantly. So you'd still be fighting the same enemies you fought throughout the entire game, the same 5 enemies, but he'd switch it up on the fly on you. Another mandatory hidden mechanic they didn't teach you, though, is to get the final blow on him, you have to do an extract, but it will shock you before you finish. You will always lose the tug-of-war game, so you need to command your companion to beat him up while you're extracting, which was always a thing you could do. You could get an early kill if you just tell him to do that, but, like, they never told you could do it, and it was never mandatory for anything. It doesn't speed up the extract process unless you happen to kill the enemy. So there was never any real reason to do it. It was just kind of a waste of resource. Okay, here's the fucking place. We will. Get naked, and then we'll drink a savior schnapps, because that was difficult to find. The reason I say the combat isn't, like, the worst thing in the world is, despite it being, like, very basic, it is, like, a bullet hell type of a thing, and most enemies will fire bullet hell patterns at you. And I think that that makes decent use of the platforming abilities. Like, you lock on and fire and forget, but then your main focus is dodging bullet hell patterns, and I think that that really works in something that's primarily a platformer. And, like, you know, I'll give them props for making decent use of your platforming abilities for combat. Whereas in Metroid Prime, for example, you really only have to strafe left and right, but I always jump because it makes me feel like I'm doing something. I'm not sure if it actually makes you faster or not.
Look at that. Those heathens are a lot tidier than the bandits.
Mit perezgeted itt a szemed? Takarodj mielőtt 3-ig számolok, különben meghalsz! Semmi keresni valód itt. Pusztulj innen, vagy átlyukasztalak! Mit akarsz ott? Kotródj mielőtt lövök! Semmi dolgod itt! Héte! Azonnal fordulj meg és kotródj, különben pórul jársz!
I don't know if this guy can see me or not.
Mi csak?
Pretty sure he can, but he can't get to me.
Mit keresel itt? Véletlenül kibújtál az anyád szoknyája alól?
I'm also stuck. I can't even uncrouch, actually.
Emberek, vigyázat!
Crap. Alright, so it's all just too basic. Again, the game doesn't evolve at all as you play, and, like, you can hypothetically beat it in, like, 9 hours, but it somehow overstays its welcome even in that 9 hours, because, like, the whole 8 hours leading up to that was all the same stuff. Getting a different color for my gun didn't feel like a game changer. I just match a different color. It's not like I'm mixing these up to apply status effects, or I'm not trying to, like, work out what the opposite colors that weren't involved in this mix are or anything. You just pick the one, and you use it, and then an enemy dies, and then you pick the one for the next enemy. Sometimes you'll find, like, a color switch you have to shoot to open a door. And again, that's just, like, pick the color, match it, very baby brain stuff. Nothing in the game is a challenging puzzle whatsoever. There's just, like, bullshit Kaizo Mario level platforming segments you'll find in the optional dungeons. But more importantly, the final dungeon is all of that. You do Kaizo Mario until you find a little combat arena, and then you do more Kaizo Mario. Both the combat arenas are very difficult, and the Mario stuff is very difficult. So, like, the final dungeon is kind of just a massive difficulty spike from everything you've been doing up to that point.
Look at that. Those heathens are a lot tidier than the bandits.
Well, which I think is a load of shit, honestly. Like, that's just bad design to ramp up the difficulty so much from everything else that was mandatory. To make it the same level as the optional content, which you don't even have to do all of. Speaking of the optional content, dungeons, they are dotted about the map. There are arenas, which are very simple, just kill all the enemies. There are exploration dungeons, which are actually decent. They're just, you know, more of the game. It's what they all should be, but they're not all that, and they have a boss at the end. And then there are Kaizo Mario things where you just like run down a straight path on floating platforms. And those ones are the hardest, and I like them the least. Because each of these dungeons all have the same set of bonus objectives, which are find like 10 hidden switches and shoot them, collect the yellow orb. I don't know why, just collect the fucking yellow orb and beat it within a time limit. Those are usually easy enough to do. Sometimes you'll have to replay one. But with the platforming ones, the platforming is so difficult to execute that you're almost always going to fail on the time, especially if you're looking for the switches and stuff. The orb is usually pretty easy to find.
I'd like to see you try shooting these now.
Hé, mit csinálsz ott? Beszarás, és pont amikor kedvem lenne valakiből kiverni a lelkem. Légy résen, ott van!
Ah!
Nem vagy képesztőbbre. Mi folyik ott? Emberek, vigyázat! Totti, látjátok? Ott az a kegyláda. Kit nem látok? Megjött a mulatság.
Where is my horse? It's somewhere on this road.
I'll slay you, you scum!
Whoa! I thought that was the guardsman. Speaking of floating platforms, the final dungeon's just like floating platforms in a big empty space. It looks very much like a test environment, and it's incredibly lazy. I don't know. The exploration dungeons are alright. The arena ones are so because there's nothing to them. You're just fighting more of the same enemies you've been fighting for the whole fucking game. Speaking of which, I said that the tank frame was added by the Definitive Edition, which added a new area. I did not bother going to that new area because I didn't even do all the content in the main areas. I can't imagine anyone thought that there wasn't enough game. Like, there's just more than enough shit that you don't want to fucking do. But because they added that tank frame, I'm not sure if that added a new enemy, or if the tank was always an enemy, and they just made it a frame for you. Either way, it's, like, not enough. Too little, too late. But, like, I'll give them points if they added some variety like that. But also, the tank isn't exclusive to the new area if they did do that. It's just always available. You're always fighting it from the beginning, just like every other enemy. Hello? Yeah, we aren't going back into that camp. We technically sabotaged and we scouted it. We do not need to return. Go over to C. Or actually, fuck that. There's a bed in Talmberg. We can just rest there. Remember how I said the boss is a transformer? It's also cool that they added the tank form to him if that's what happened. Again, I'm not entirely sure what the order of operations is on this stuff. It's still not very much, but like, yay, he turns into all the enemies. Fuck! Yeah, that's all there really is to the game. It's not so much a roast because there isn't very much funny about it. It's just like disappointingly mediocre all over it. Kind of like the Mighty Number 9, just disappointingly mediocre. There's semblance of stuff that could have been an okay game, but it overstays its welcome. There's too much empty space. It's not very fun to play. And there's just like some really fucking harebrained decisions. Like, this guy's supposed to be a veteran game designer.
Look at that. Those heathens are a lot tidier than the bandits.
Yes.
I'd like to see you try shooting these now.
Hey, don't you look at me.
Idrisen! Ott van! Látom, ő Rotti!
Not get my ass beat quite as hard and run away.
Riadó! Ott van egy a szemetek közül! Vigyázzatok vele!
Szanyja! Itt szép egy malacka tévedt a disznóölésre.
Oh, right. The cutscenes were also, like, pretty funny in how bad they were. I didn't talk about the acting. The acting's pretty, like, feels like people just picked up off the street. The audio logs, it feels like you're listening to people's personal diaries, or they're just running on about their personal lives, shit that you don't care about, that's irrelevant to the overall plot. Like, yeah, I'm your fucking leading officer, and I don't give a shit about my job, or you, or the mission. I'm just, like, reading you messages, and, you know, I'm still not married. I still don't have a baby. I'm 30 years old. I hate you, by the way. Thank you for standing up for me. I know we tried to, like, shit on your whole robot project and, like, make the AIs evil, but you stopped them from doing that, and I respect that, but also I'm single, and you're in space, so you can't crush this puss. Bye. That's more or less the plot of one of them anyways. I said that you meet a male NPC. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go off on my own. You can take my robot buddy, though. He has broken robot legs. And when you meet up with the talking robot later, when you're gonna fight him, he's like, all the humans are dead, just give up, it is pointless. And you're like, no, there's another one, we're gonna... And he just throws his broken robot leg at you. And again, it turns out the guy is alive, but like, he was literally just like, no, we're gonna fuck. At the end cutscene, you're like, you hold up the prismatic core before the boss comes out, and it's not working. You're just like, fucking why? She doesn't swear, but like, she's just shaking you around, and like, why aren't you working? Again, I told you, she has no idea what this thing is, which is like ridiculous, considering she's supposed to be the lead engineer on this fucking project. And she's the daughter of the guy who invented the fucking things. But, like, it just shows you she had no idea what she was doing. She doesn't seem very professional as a lead engineer. I don't really have to go to that bed anymore. So I'm not trying to get bloody screen so real off her face, so we can just go over to C. Also, remember when I said that and didn't hear anything about it? It's probably because the game was mediocre and nobody actually played it. But I remember when the trailer showed off and it was just a girl walking through desert with her robot dog. They were like, this is gonna be Mad Max. And everyone else was like, if that fucking dog dies, I'm gonna shit, piss, and come! And then nobody played it to see if the dog died or not. The dog does not die. It's not even a dog, it's a robot, guys. Now, the only person that dies is the fucking... allegedly dies, is the male NPC who you were going to fuck, I guess. You had no character. You said hi, and then he went off to do his own thing. So yeah, Solus experience. Can't believe it was an exclusive. I don't know what they did with that money, but they burned it. Somebody wiped their ass with it. Probably Inafune. Painfully mediocre. 6 out of 10 or less. I don't know. I feel like I'm being a little generous when I say it's slightly above mediocre, because it really is mediocre. Maybe I'll even give it a 5. It's a functional game. It's not shovelware, but it's not good. I don't think it's worth time. It's not worth the 8 hours it'll take you to beat it with minimum collecting. It's definitely not worth going for all the collectibles, because there's like very lackluster rewards. You just get stuff that's not even useful anymore. And you only need the 30 cores to beat the game. Collecting more just lets you go into more dungeons. Like, do I really want more content? I really don't. So yeah, don't play ReCore, and again, I didn't invest in the Definitive Edition. I can't believe it even got that far, because nobody played it, nobody liked it. Who thought they needed more game? It doesn't really have music either, from what I remember. It could have been, like, atmospheric score, but, like, it seemed like definitely the kind of game that should have had straight-up music, and it just did not. You know what, I need to go to the tavern and, like, sit down and read a book or something, because the stable man isn't going to be here. God, I fucking hate the dark. This way. Follow the path. While we're being negative, we'll talk about the anime too. Sirius the Jaeger, a Netflix show. Again, just like painfully mediocre. About a vampire hunter. They're called Jaegers, so they're from Germany, I guess. Sirius is like a tribe of werewolf people, and he's the last werewolf people because the vampires all slaughtered his people looking for their special super weapon. And he ended up joining the vampire hunters for no reason. And they skipped his whole training arc. And he fights a couple guys. And then he goes to Japan because it's anime and they have to go to Japan. And the girl he doesn't talk to is wet. And she follows him. Becomes a vampire hunter too. And then he goes and hunts down his treasure. I guess you'd say it's like loosely the plot of an Indiana Jones movie. But like, it seems like basically all of it, but the last act is filler. And he runs into his brother, who got turned into a vampire, I guess. And he's like, "You're my enemy now." He's like, "No, I'm not gonna kill you, you're my brother." And he's like, "You know what, you're my brother, I'm not gonna kill you." And like, you saw that shit coming from a mile away. And it turns out the vampire bad guy is actually a really bad guy, and the other vampires betray him too. Which I guess I didn't see that coming, but okay. And that's all that really happened. The freaking Japanese girl who was wet didn't go anywhere. There's like a whole team of vampire hunters, and they're on screen for like a couple fights, 2 fights, before Dooley Wolfboy strikes out on his own. And yeah. It was just like painfully mediocre. I feel like it was all condensed too much. Like it needed a longer runtime to flesh out the characters. However, I also don't get the impression that they like skipped any content. Like I think they showed us everything that was written, and there just wasn't much. Am I level 15? When you can't go on anymore, push yourself harder. What could happen? In the worst case scenario, you'll die at the finish line. Oh. Let me open the fucking book. Right, Primer 2. Oh, yeah. Ugh. I don't know, animation itself is, like, competent. I just think that, like, things were seriously lacking on the writing front. Another thing that makes me feel like they showed us everything they had is that, like, at the end of the opening credits, they'll have, like, a loading screen. Or just, like, a full minute, you're staring at a picture of Yuli. And, like, whatever you call it, the bridge, the chorus of the song is just playing. There's no more credits happening, you're just watching a loading screen for some fucking reason.
What Teresa's doing now? I could stop by and see her again. I enjoyed it last time.
It could just be a thing with the director. I know High Score Girl did the same thing, but it wasn't always the same picture in that. It was like a funny picture of something that happens later in the episode. And High Score Girl had like 2 seasons, and I think there's a 3rd one coming, so like, they definitely had more to work with. Watch High Score Girl instead. It's not mediocre, it's actually very good. Books are cheaper. First time you look at a fresco, temporarily gets useless. Your level of study of the book you've read most will advance automatically while sleeping or skipping time. That's pretty cool. Getting comfort, you get a double reading bonus. With that. auto reading's cool, but it's also like there's no reason for me to not skip time. Put this torch away, bro. Doesn't probably get dressed. Talmberg really that beat up, bro? I feel like I haven't fought that much in it. I haven't got my ass kicked in it, at least. Guess so. Alright, another freaking thing that was, like, disappointing about it is just that he doesn't use werewolf powers at all. Like, there's one small flashback where you see his eyes are on fire because he's, like, kind of angry, and I guess he's dipping into his dog blood power. But, like, he never uses it for anything. And that's just like, what the fuck? Why isn't he just a human? Something good. I went back to Crosscode finally, played the new home expansion. I knew that the new home expansion was coming out in like a month from the time that I beat it originally, so I left it installed. And I believe I talked about it when we were playing Dragon Age Origins. So, I did a very in-depth review of that. The game is a masterpiece. ELDR. Absolutely amazing. Go play it. The expansion picks up after the main story. It just continues it, ties up, like, basically every loose end that I can remember, though it has been a while since I played it. Goes into some more interesting topics. I want to talk about that a little, but I'm not sure how to do it without spoiling a very crucial part of the story. So I guess I can't. But, well, you get like a couple new areas, a new dungeon. They build on all the puzzle mechanics again. Like, I already thought the final dungeon was a pretty ultimate test of everything that you've learned throughout the game, but no, they decided to add another new mechanic that tests all the shit that you've collected already. And, like, there's some real freaking brain teasers. This shit took me hours to get through. All the puzzles. It was awesome. There's plenty of new boss fights. They added new quests to every zone to help, like, encourage you to go back to all the old areas and grind out premium materials you got from buying the boosters at the end previously. More arena cups. They added more cosmetic pets and a new home area. Which the DLC is called the new home. They built a home for your character for reasons undefined. Or for redacted reasons, rather. Every pet that you collect will, like, casually appear around the homestead area, though, which is really cool. So, like, even if you don't have it actively following you around, you'll see them decorating. Ashek.
God be with you.
Training? The fuck? Came here for a roan. Sadly you don't get a fifth element or anything like that, though. I don't know how that would work, but again, they added just a new puzzle mechanic that implements not only your elemental abilities, but it mixes with all the previous mechanics too, like the bombs and the bubbles and the freaking spheres that ride along the walls or go over the walls, and like, you just use literally everything that you've done throughout the entire game. It all mixes together and elevates and builds on each other into like the most complex puzzles you've done yet, and it was wonderful. Though previously, like, the real hard shit was to get optional items, and like I appreciated that, but this is like mandatory puzzle solving that's pretty rough, and like I can see that being a turnoff for some people. However, the main game is so long that I don't think anybody who got past all of it is going to not be into the puzzles already. They've made it to the expansion.
I'm looking for the local groom.
Well, you found him. What can I do for you?
The lady Stephany of Talmberg sent me. She said you have a roan ready for her.
Well... Chamberlain Dietrich said someone would come. We have him here, but if he's ready, I can't say. That miserable horse will let you saddle him and walk him around the courtyard, but as soon as someone sits on him, he goes completely wild.
What do I do?
That horse is supposed to be presented at a noble woman's wedding. It probably won't be appropriate if he makes a spectacle of his rider. Is there anything I can do?
Try asking Vasha. For some reason, that devil horse listens to him. Then take the horse with you. Dietrich's arranged everything.
God be with you.
So the writing is still funny, of course. There's just more dialogue, a lot of it actually. Remember how I said the story had kind of a slow burn at first, and I actually took a break before right before it picked up, and then it was great for the whole rest of the game. This is obviously after the big reveal, so there is no slow build up. It just like keeps going full speed ahead, and it's wonderful. They added like a new tier of equipment and craftable stuff. A lot of the high tier endgame equipment that you had to craft can now be like upgraded with more premium materials into a whole new tier of orange equipment, which will level up with you. So like once you've got the best stuff, it'll keep getting stronger, which I like. Which it means that if I decide to keep grinding so I can try and do the arena stuff for achievements, I'm not just like capped by my gear. It's going to keep getting stronger as well as my character leveling up. I really appreciate, because the arena stuff is pretty tough.
I heard you have a way with the horse that unsaddles everyone else.
Yes. I suppose I do.
And how do you do it? How do you calm him down?
I'm good to him.
But how? You jerk him off or what?
Well, I want to treat the horse well too, but I don't know how, because I don't know him as well as you do. Will you help me?
I sing to him.
You sing to him? What?
2 horses come roaming in the merry month of May, to graze in the shade of the apple tree there. The first one is brown, and the second is grey. Which shall I ride to my maiden so fair?
That's, interesting.
That's beautiful.
I know how it looks, but he likes it.
Thank you, Vashek.
Vashek, local throat goat.
Good luck to you.
So, do I just get on the horse or do I tell this guy? This must be he. Slower than Pebbles. Thick boy, though. Look at that. 230 pounds.
So, boy, want me to sing? You're definitely the first horse I've ever serenaded. Two horses come roaming in the merry month of May.
The audio messed up for you guys, too. It's like bouncing between my ears. It might be because I installed the HD sounds. And that's a damn shame, because it is not very HD if they are broken. We're heading towards point D. I'm honestly glad we didn't have to hear that. The final dungeon itself, like, they already added a new area, but the final dungeon itself is a big open area too, which is, like, unique. Like, normally they have instance things. The game's about playing an MMO, so you go into a dungeon and it's instance, you can't play with your friends there. But they decide to instance parts of the dungeon, and then, like, you kill the enemy or whatever, and it'll be open back up, you'll see other players. It's a fake MMO, and
yeah.
It's hard to explain. It sounds stupid, but it's really good, damn it. Anyways, big open area, lots of treasures to find around it, lots of, like, optional puzzles to do, and, like, there's NPC friends to talk to. And it's just, like, a really long thing, and it's very impressive, like... You know, every dungeon's a masterpiece, but this one is, like, an absolute masterpiece in itself, and it tried out a lot of interesting ideas compared to what they did in the main game. And, in the main game, there was, like, a locked door, and that was supposed to be the final dungeon. They said it was actively in development, and it was kind of like a joke that you were just out of content to play. Out of official content, there was still a final dungeon for you waiting, but eventually the DLC came out, and that's the dungeon that opened up. And at the end of it, they put in, like, a trailer for a new world, because you discover, like, a portal at the end of this dungeon, and that's supposed to be the sequel to Crossworlds, the MMO that you're playing. I don't know if that means, like, they're making a sequel game, or if that's just there as a joke. But I would very much like a sequel, because it seems like they still have plenty of ideas to try out to make things even better from what they already are.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd just be super down for that. And people at that team are absolute geniuses. I don't know why I'm going the wrong way, damn it. Going towards point D, the green.
Yeah.
That one was just shorter. It was actually a pretty lengthy expansion, but again, anything that I have to say about it is just like me rehashing what I've already talked about with the main game. Geez, it was in one of the side quest episodes of Dragon Age Origins. We were in, like, the Necromancer house or something. I think I made a joke about them being weebs because they had, like, titty lady statues lying around. So that's probably in the title, because I used to do titles on my freaking VODs before I got lazy. So, like, I don't know, go watch that segment. I timestamp all the episodes so you can see where I'm talking about reviews. Or just go play Crosscode, don't even watch my review, and, like, amazing game. Probably costs like $20. Or it could even be on sale right now, who knows? But, I don't know, that was maybe one of the best expansions I ever played. Definitely worth all the money. It's rare for, like, a full-on expansion to be made nowadays. But, like, even in terms of those, that one was like premium. Builds on the actual game. It's not just more content and like a side story diversion. It's more main story. It's more good content. It's more interesting ideas. It literally just feels like a general update to the game. Like stuff that would have been in the works for a sequel. I hate getting into this fort. You have to take the freaking whole roundabout, winding pathway up a hill. Very well defended location, actually, but that's what makes it a pain in the ass.
Lady Stephany. Thank you, Henry.
Good. Ah, I'm on the road. What is happening? Good doggy. Okay. Looks like I need to sleep, actually. Cool. Do that. Sleep and save, since we got an objective done. How nourished are we right now? I mean, we should probably eat something before sleeping. Food, drop this. Drop this. I will eat a salami. And a piece of bread. And then Doggo can have the smoked sausage, because that's probably gonna rot soon. Who's a good boy?
Look what I've got for you.
Look what I got for you. Daddy's got you a big old sausage. Gross.
There's the good doggy. That's my boy.
I'm very happy about that. Why is he even following me if he doesn't like me? I wasn't his master. Yeah. I guess we're gonna go do the rest of this quest. Before we head back to Ratai and sell some shit. We have to go there anyways to get the wine. But we're gonna ride over to Sasau. And I guess we will talk to Teresa while we're in Rattay as well. And that might take up our whole time slot. And we're gonna ride back to Radzig and we'll do the whole Pribyslavitz raid the next time. But what are we at, like 2 hours probably? Yeah. That should be how the rest of this goes. We've got another game to talk about too. Is this the exit? Sure looks like it. Hello, you fine people of America, racist and all. I am the Orange Man. Okay, Merhoyed. On the saying it. Why do I feel like this moved? Did I miss one? Pretty sure that's the Band of Bastards. Rane. I should probably eat that last piece of bread. Hopefully it's not too rotten. Good. Alright. Get a move on. Bust a move. Damn it. Alright, so the messenger, I don't know, when I first saw it, I thought it was like, somebody obviously loves Ninja Gaiden. This looks like a very standard action platformer. It says it's a Metroidvania. And I was like, okay, I'll probably buy it on sale or something. And then our man, Gerard the Completionist, played it, and he, like, absolutely gushed about it, and he sold me on it. Better than sold me on it, I donate to his Indieland Open Hand Foundation charity every year for dementia research. And, you get benefits for donating certain amounts. And one of the things I got was just a key for the messenger, because he partnered with the team, because he liked the game so much. So everybody who donated got a free key for the messenger. So, I know that I received the game for free, but I also, like, gave, I don't know, like 80 bucks to charity, something like that. So, like, I kind of paid for it. So, it's like a pixel art game. I'm pretty sure it can't be any more than 20 bucks. Full price. And I finally got around to playing it just now, and I absolutely loved it. So, in this game, again, somebody obviously loves Ninja Gaiden. You play as a ninja, a little cool little blue ninja in an 8-bit art style. At the edge of the earth, the last bastion of humanity lies in wait for the demon army to one day attack. And it's a village of ninjas. And you're like the ninja who didn't train very hard, and you kind of don't care. But the game starts on the day the demons finally attack, so you go through a quick tutorial, and now you have a slash attack, and you have a cloud step, which is your double jump. If you attack something in the air, you will have a little cloud appear under your feet, and then you can use that to double jump. If you hit something again, you'll get another cloud step. So, like, timing out things, finding paths of enemies, or stage hazards to hit to keep your jump string going is very much a mechanic and feels great. And that's all there is to start. You can jump, you can hit, and you can cloud step. Then the demons attack, and the humanity is wiped out until the hero from the west appears. He's a guy with a cool hat, and he hands you a scroll because he showed up too late and he couldn't save humanity. And he tells you to carry this scroll to the highest mountaintop at the other edge of the world. And that's where your journey starts. You are now the messenger. So, there's some stuff I kind of have to spoil to talk about, like, the midpoint of this game. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that now. The scroll attunes you to, like, time manipulation. It lets you interact with stuff outside of time and possibly even time travel. So, at your first checkpoint, you will discover a shop in a space existing outside of time. It's always the same shop, but it existed everywhere and nowhere. God, I'm so lost. I'm pretty sure I went the wrong way. I need to, like, go south so I don't jump off this fucking cliff. So in the shop there is, like, a cool blue-robed guy, and he obviously exists outside of time. He's seen both the past and the future. So he talks, like, beyond the fourth wall. He just makes jokes all the time. He's pretty funny. And he tells you, like, his own versions of fairy tales to teach you morals and stuff. If you ask, if you want him to. But he also gives you upgrades. He just hands them to you when you reach the appropriate location. No finding Chozo statues or whatever. And you can also spend time crystals you collect as, like, coins or from killing enemies and buy other optional upgrades. Such as the shuriken throw, which costs a little bit of your ki meter. So they're a very limited resource to start, but eventually you make acquiring health pickups and more chi easier. As well as upgrading stuff like adding more damage if you delay your attacks, or just making the shuriken stronger, make it pierce more enemies, make you take less damage. Stuff to track down secrets, stuff like that. Also, when you die, a little demon imp appears and he, like, takes all the money you collect for a while until your debt is paid. There's one thing to reduce the cost of that. Okay, now I need to head east. I need to head very east towards the A. This is painful. Why can't the sun just come up already? Yeah, the upgrades are fairly expensive. I didn't get all of them until I was, I don't know, like 80% through the game. Which means I was bad. Like, most of my money was going towards the imp because I died a lot. The game is pretty tough, but it's also very forgiving in how generous it is with the checkpoints. And, like, the gameplay is simplistic enough that it's easy to master eventually. I do feel like I got better at the game. Especially after I got new abilities and I came back to old areas and I was like, oh, I am better. Because there isn't a lot of enemy variety, but each enemy is unique. So I see it as a good thing. Like, each area you go to will have its own set of enemies, and, like, occasionally you see some of the old ones. But, like, each enemy behaves completely uniquely from the previous ones. And it's not like it's an RPG or anything, your damage isn't increasing, so, like, you got the guy who takes 2 hits, and that's his whole deal. He doesn't die in 1 hit. And you got the guy who shoots fireballs, you have to worry about getting close to him, but you can also use those fireballs to make cloud steps once you unlock the ability to destroy projectiles. So the first upgrade you get is Climby Claws, which let you climb up and down walls, as you could in Ninja Gaiden and Strider before. They make a joke about John Gaiden inventing the climbies, and how you just assumed that you'd be able to climb on things because everything's so flat looking. It's not just the art style, I promise. And you use that to get through the first area. The music in the game absolutely slaps, by the way. And you get 2 versions of each song for when you're in the past and the future. I did mention time travel, right? Yeah, you do that. You see it in the trailer, that's literally not a spoiler. They even make a joke about that when you get to the part where time travel happens. Like, what, I just traveled through time? Somebody clearly didn't watch the trailer. Yeah, you go to the future, and to show you that you're in the future, it turns into a 16-bit art style. And the world that you're in, like, changes. Like, new paths will be open, old paths will be locked. And there'll be puzzles where you have to switch time periods to get through whatever thing. Or you'll have to do something in the past to make the present different. Make the future different, I mean. God, I need a drink. So, you play through, like, the whole first half of the game in, like, the 8-bit until you get to the edge of the world where you discover time travel. Now, in terms of the art, I think the 8-bit art is very good, and the 16-bit art is obviously competent, but, like, I think it's too busy, and I think it's harder to look at. Like, in stills, it's good, but, like, actually playing it, I don't know. I think I prefer the 8-bit art style generally. Just personal preference. The gameplay doesn't evolve at all when you switch between the two things, it just looks different. And, like, the world's different too, as I said. You get more upgrades along the way, like a wingsuit, which lets you glide, and that adds another layer to cloud stepping, especially once you unlock the ability to attack downwards while gliding. And you use these optional abilities to get to power seals, which are just like little side rooms, little side puzzle platforming rooms. You can find all over the place. I think there's like 45 of them or something. You'll have to go back to the old levels to collect those, as well as the main MacGuffins. Collecting all the power seals gets you something pretty cool. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's like a dope upgrade for one of your other abilities, basically. And it's kind of OP. It seems pretty balanced at first, but no, it's OP. In, like, the best way, because it takes skill to make it OP. Once you spend all your money, this game actually got an expansion, a free expansion. I think it was free, at least, for like a beach vacation episode after you've beaten the game. And that added something to spend your money on after you've bought all the upgrades too, called the money sink. It's literally like a clogged sink, and you have to spend all your money to buy a money wrench to unclog it, and then you go down there and you can buy like little collectible statues, like you do in Resident Evil 4. And it's just nice that there's something for that. We'll talk about the DLC too, after I'm done talking about the main game. So it starts out as like a linear adventure. You get to the top of the mountain, and then you go through like the Tower of Time, and that unlocks time travel. Then you end up in the future, and you go through a few more levels in a linear fashion before flying back to the beginning of the world. And here's something that I might have to spoil. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to avoid it. I don't know. Surprise happens, and you end up having to go through all the levels again. except now you're in the future, and time rifts have opened up everywhere, so you'll switch between the future and the past, and it's basically like you're playing a different level. But you also get to see how far you've come and how good you are at the game now, and it feels really satisfying. But you have to go collect the power seals, or you optionally collect them. You have to collect the MacGuffins, which are music notes. You go through all the old levels, but you also, by exploring these new levels with your new abilities, you're able to access new zones and new exits, and you will find entirely new areas that you have not yet played. There's like the Skyland, the Abyss, the underwater place. I think that might be it. I don't know, there's like 3 or 4 areas that you haven't been to, as well as the final area. And you're going back through all the old areas, which are all basically unrecognizable now. Yeah, the Fairy Garden, that was another place. I said that you were the ninja who didn't care, who didn't train enough, and that the shopkeeper's funny, but like your ninja's he's a goofy dude too. And you meet goofy characters. Nobody in the game really takes things very seriously. It's very funny writing though, so it works. And then like the story itself is still somehow taken seriously, like it all just works. Probably because of the time travel aspect of it. You'll see that there were plenty of previous messengers just like you. There were like guys from the future, there were military guys, there were Metroid guys, there were Vikings, there were pirates. Everybody you can think of could have been a messenger. And they all go through like the same shit as you before spoilers happen. But whatever. Whenever you reach the end of your journey, something happens and you have to go back through the levels as, like, the actual messenger. And here's something that I can spoil. You finally read the scroll. For whatever reason, you just decide to deliver a message without ever reading it. And it turns out it was a map. And I was, like, a massive sigh of relief. It was like, how is this going to be a Metroidvania if I don't have a map? Like, am I just supposed to memorize all these levels? How do I know whatever I've already been? What secrets are left? No, it turns out you've been carrying a map the whole time, you just never opened it. Also, like, they never tell me I have an inventory button, but you can keep track of all the collectibles you have from there. It's in the controls menu, they just never tell you. In fact, all the abilities are in the controls menu, so like gliding is in there, cloud stepping is on there, the ability to run on water is in there. They have a special name for it, so you don't really know what it is, but like, it's pretty dope when you get it. Areas all have like unique platforming gimmicks to them, they all have their own theme. The rope dart, too, is a thing. Which people would call a grapple hook, but it's not a grapple hook because you don't swing on it. It's just a rope dart. You fling it out and it pulls you to whatever you hit. And you do a little attack, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool mechanic. I think their workshop's upstairs.
Jesus
Master
Christ be
Jerome.
praised. The Lady of Talmberg sent me. She wants me to find out why the crown's been delayed.
Through no fault of ours, I can tell you that. We had a large stone ordered for mounting on the crown, a beautiful Moldavite from South Bohemia that we had cut and polished in Prague. But, well, in short, the good merchant, Martin Wiesek, who was supposed to bring it from Prague, got lost along the way. It's like the ground swallowed him up.
Well, Lady Stephany won't be happy.
Look, we've got something else here we can replace the stone with, but I'm sure even you can see it's not worthy of a noble wedding. and definitely not worthy of our fine craftsmanship. Oh, if I only had someone who'd try to find the Moldavite.
Why don't you just ask me? Of course I'll try to find the stone. Just tell me where the fellow was seen last.
That fellow, as you call him, the esteemed merchant, Martin Vizek, was last seen riding alongside the Sasau River, passing by the footbridge over the ford, to the west of here. Evidently, he never made it to Sasau town.
Well, I'll look for him, but he could be far over the mountains by now. Or under the ground.
Take care now.
Find the missing Moldavite. Did it give me, like, an area? It did. Cool. Go over to C. I think you have to make a speech check to make him use the other thing, and it doesn't really matter if you do, but this is easier. And I might have to fight a bandit or something. Right, so it's kind of just like a hard Ninja Gaiden-esque linear platformer at first, then it becomes the Metroidvania, and you're like, you feel really good about yourself, and you realize that you've mastered everything, and you've gotten better at the game, so you're getting through these levels without dying, and it's dope, and then you get new areas, and that feels dope, because, like, the game proved itself not linear, but you took a different exit out of the level, where you find multiple entrances into specific levels, and, like, you don't need to do all the exploring, but you're rewarded for doing so, like, both with the final thing for the power seals, which is really dope, but also, like, eventually, it's going to ask you to go through most of the areas and find all the little builder men, and find all the key items you need to get to access the other areas, and, like, it's just worth it to go through everything. Exploration feels well rewarded and almost mandatory. So, like, I feel like this is a very good completion experience, as it doesn't feel like you're going out of your way to do anything. It all feels like you're supposed to, at the very least. Boss fights are all pretty great, though. And with the combat being as spammy as it is, it feels less elegant than when you one-hit enemies that are, it's, like, kind of hard. However, with all the techniques you have access to eventually, it's possible to, like, stay in the air and just keep pounding on a boss if you're skilled enough with your cloud steps and your gliding and your rope dart and stuff. And you can, like, one cycle a boss, and that feels really cool. Like, it's probably a good thing for speedrunning.
What's that?
I'm going to compare the game to Celeste, and how every level has, like, its own platforming gimmicks. Like, the old temple has the rockets, and Hell has lava, obviously. The mountain is, like, more of a climb, and it introduced the rope dart. The underground cavern introduced the wingsuit, so it's got the air geysers.
Hey, what was that noise? Oh no! Look, it's crawling out.
But, like, when you're in a puzzle room, too, very much like Celeste when you're collecting the hearts and the mixtapes and stuff, it's like, they amp up the complexity of things, but they also give you a checkpoint and just, like, keep tackling it until you get it. And I appreciate that. It feels, like, solid. Solid design, very quick, just respawns you right away, no loading screen, and you die.
Go! Gone weak at the knees, have you?
So, I don't know. I guess if you were a fan of Celeste, but maybe didn't like the depression stuff and wish there was combat and ninjas and stuff, definitely the game for you.
Is that the best?
And there were some pretty cool levels. I didn't spoil all of them, or like even by the name, you can't possibly guess what they actually are. The final level especially is really cool, which I'm gonna spoil. You collect all the MacGuffins, which are music notes, and that unlocks like a magic music box. And then you go inside the music box, which, you know, I've seen in other games like Castlevania Lords of Shadow. However, what's cool about this music box is, one, the melody that you play to unlock it is like a part of the music that plays in the background, the BGM. So, like, that's just cool. It feels like I helped write the music in a way when that happens. If that makes any sense. Because I, like, collected all the notes and then, like, now I'm listening to it as a song. But the other really cool thing about the level is, like, all the stage hazards move in rhythm. So, like, there'll be pistons, they go up, up, up. Or, like, I don't know, saw blades, just anything that moves. Anything that moves is in rhythm. And I feel like that probably not easy to do. Altar candle looks like a cock and balls. Even got the line in the center here. Like, this is definitely a dick. Here's the Moldavite. Flash chalice. Well, we're in Sasau. I can actually just sell most of this shit right away. I don't have to ride all the way back to Ratai to do that. But we're going to Ratai anyway. And here's the cart. No, you ain't got nothing to say, Henry. No, Jesus Christ. Never. So the achievements are pretty funny too. They usually appear whenever there's an opportunity for a joke. Like, one of the upgrades that you can buy is like a dash for when you're underwater. And the achievement you get is like Hope This Phelps. And, like, you didn't do anything, you just bought an upgrade and I gave it to you because it'd be funny. And the achievement you get for beating the game says the fake ending was better. And that's why I chose not to spoil a very crucial part of the midpoint of the story. Because the fake ending was better. What you do at the end of the game kind of comes out of nowhere. And, like, the guy that you go into the music box to break a curse on is, like, literally comes out of nowhere. You had no idea what any of this was. You thought your main goal was to kill the Demon King after going back to the past or whatever. And you do kill the Demon King, but that's not the end of the game. And I have to question why they didn't do that, other than that they just wanted to make the cool music box level. Which I can respect, but, like, they were aware that the end that they came up with simply wasn't as good as if they had just ended it midway through. But, like, otherwise, the game was absolutely phenomenal. And I loved every minute of it. I'm actually gonna pop out into Steam to see how long it took me to beat, because I think it was a lot longer than I thought it would be, actually. Let me see. The Messenger. 19.7 hours. Now, probably about 3 or 4 of those was dedicated to the DLC, which I guess we're going to talk about now. So there's an orb sitting in the shop eventually that you can interact with. And he'll tell you to come check it out after you finish your adventure, because you're fighting the demons not just across time, but across space. Which means alternate realities. So you beat the game, you go into an alternate reality where part of the island never joined, and you now have a beach island with cute little voodoo enemies. And all the cute little builder boys, they've been captured, and you gotta save the cute builder boys. And the demon general, who was like... He was the boss of the fake ending. He's like back for revenge because you embarrassed him, I guess. And you do the DLC. They add a cool little surfing mini game, which I don't know, it's fun, but I wish that you were able to skip the cutscenes on replays, because it's just a bit much when you're trying to master it and get all the collectibles. And then there's more to the main game. You go through like 3 new areas, I think. They're all pretty lengthy. They have new secrets. Collecting all the feathers from the surfing game, as well as the mask pieces from the main game, unlock the Voodoo Man, like Aku Aku. He appears at the shop and tells like really shitty dad jokes when you talk to him.
About that Moldavite we discussed.
Yes. Do you have some news?
I have the Moldavite.
Yes. The good news is I found Vizek.
That sounds like cause for rejoicing, but how come he isn't with you?
That's the bad news. He didn't survive.
Merciful God. He was a good and highly respected man. I will pray for his soul. Anyway, let me see the stone, if you would be so kind.
Of course. Here it is.
Excellent. It looks undamaged. I'll get straight to work. You can come for the finished crown tomorrow evening. Farewell.
Great, I'll just ride back here. Even though it's kind of out of the way, now how annoying it is to get the Sasso. In fact, fuck Sasso's merchants, we're going to Ratai. We're also going to see Mr. Wojciech. Scott the Wojciech. Alright, so he tells really shitty dad jokes, and if you happen to be on New Game Plus, which I'm sure there are jokes associated with, but I didn't choose to play New Game Plus, you can talk to him and activate the deal, which gives you like 5 times the health and damage output, or something like that. Something ridiculous. However, it gets rid of your resurrection ability, so you have 1 life to play the game. But you do more health. You have a lot more health and you do more damage, so I think it's actually pretty doable sounding. I just, again, didn't try. And that's obviously like a New Game Plus thing, so you collect all the pieces in your first run, and then you go back to New Game Plus and talk to him right at the beginning. I think that's a pretty cool reward. Dad jokes in a one life mode.
Yeah.
They don't add any new mechanics with the new areas, sadly. It's just like more well-designed levels. And so they're beach-themed. You go into a volcano. Then there's bosses that are... I'm gonna be honest, they're just like really hard. I don't think that they're like as well-designed as the previous ones. The first boss associated with the surfing minigame, and like that one works fine. The surfing minigame is simple, easy to master if you're out the boss, and like it's just a fun thing. So you have to do it a few times when you're trying to get all the feathers. Second one is like a totem pole. Well, you know, like the heads stacked on each other. And it blows tornadoes at you, which you're supposed to jump over while you're being... And if you don't jump over, the tornado will, like, catch you, and you'll be pushed into a spike wall that's waiting for you at the edge of the screen. And at the end of that move, he'll summon little birds to you, and you're supposed to jump on the birds to attack the top head, which is exposed as a weak point. Otherwise, he just sends out the heads, and they, like, come around and go, "Urgh!" You know, like thwomps. And they grow spikes, and they move at you, and you have to try and jump up to the top one, and then they get to the head. And you can only attack the head a few times before he sends out a tornado and pushes you away. And, you know, it's just a game of wait, dodge attacks, and go hit him. And for the most part, it's fine, but that tornado move I was trying to explain, that's the annoying part, because... Once you're stuck in a tornado, there's seemingly no way to get out of it. And once you're stuck into the spike wall, you like grab the wall, and it's really hard to get off of it without taking a lot of damage. Especially when there are more tornadoes coming at you, and if you jump off, you're just going to get pushed into the wall again. And I think it's like a poorly designed attack. And at 2 points during the fight, he will... send like a big drill at you, and it will permanently destroy part of the stage at whatever a point of your choosing, because it's trying to crush you. So like, rather than having specific parts to make his shit manageable, if you have like two really bad parts of stage get destroyed, that tornado attack becomes a million times worse, possibly even impossible to dodge or to land the attack on the boss afterwards. And yeah, I did not like him. I did not like him one bit. The other boss he got to was pretty great. He is the Shadow Messenger. Basically, you're doing like a sabotage platforming race, similar to Rayman Arena, against a shadow clone of yourself. And the stages you get will change depending on who is in the lead. So, like, if you're losing, it'll try and give you easier stages. But ideally, you're trying to go for a perfect score, in which case all stages are going to be pretty rough. And there's an achievement for getting a perfect score. And check on the Haunted Butcher, see if it's fixed. You good?
So, did it work? Is your home free of the ghost?
Oh, you're here, are you? You're lucky I didn't have to get you myself. No, it didn't work. The spirit came just the same as before, and I didn't sleep a wink.
So you're saying I won't get my reward?
You get paid for results, my dear, and I haven't seen any yet. At least now I know that old wives' love doesn't help. Go and see Apothecary Coniash in Ratai. I hear he's familiar with all manner of magic.
I think this will be more interesting.
Fine.
I'll go and see the apothecary. Hopefully we'll come up with something that works.
I don't know, I didn't like that boss. He was too hard. I felt like some things were just straight up unfair. Especially the part where the stage gets destroyed. That was the same issue I had with the final boss of Ys 1, actually. He'd chase you around with lightning attacks and destroy tiles on the floor, and they would never come back. And so it was entirely possible that he would destroy enough tiles to box you into one single tile, and you're just fucked from there. Because you need to touch the enemy to hurt him. You didn't have any magic in that first game. So, like, you can't even touch the guy. You're just absolutely screwed. And it was really lame. And that boss took me, like, somewhere north of 5 hours to finish. And that game drove me absolutely fucking crazy, even though I love the Ys franchise. Back up. Cassandra Messenger, that's what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, that was a pretty cool battle. It took me a few tries to master the stages, because the final one is just really difficult. It was just like straight cloud stepping up a big tower, and it was rough. I couldn't do it, especially with like the hand cramp controls I set up on the keyboard. Probably would have been a lot more manageable on the controller, but I eventually ended up changing my whole control scheme to make it easier, and then I got it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a good ultimate challenge to like show that you've completely mastered the platforming, though, because like finally the boss isn't just a fight; it's platforming.
To the attack!
Damn, I should have fucked off.
Oh no! Boys, they're attacking us!
Is someone there?
No thanks.
Yeah.
And after that you get another minigame boss fight, which is actually Punch-Out. Now, while I like the minigame itself and its Punch-Out, and there's actually a fair amount of depth to it, they don't explain the controls to you, and you're probably going to lose the first time you fight, and then before you go back, there will be a guy to actually teach you all the mechanics of the fight, and you're like, wow, there's a lot more to this than I thought there would be. And then you actually fight him and win. It was cool. I just wish that they explained things to me first instead of forcing me to lose the first time. That's all there was to it. I wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking, especially from a game that's story was primarily a comedy. And like this was obvious, it was made very apparent to you this was a pointless side adventure in a different dimension. But I don't know, the bosses were like not up to par with the rest of it. I feel like they were made for fun rather than like actually thoroughly tested and designed by a genius. It was still fun though. Could have been worse. I don't know why I didn't think this was Wojciech.
My God, what happened to you? You look like you've been assaulted.
I was in an assault.
I've done as you asked.
Excellent, Henry. I look forward to the latest news from Talmberg. I hope Captain Robart rubs the commander's nose right in it.
Have you got any more jobs for me?
Of course. You're just in time. I could do with a horse, and since I'm setting the task, I'll go further. I'd like a strong stallion direct from the Merhoyed stables.
Now, that's no mean feat you're asking.
As well I know, and well I'll pay.
I'll steal that horse for you, but the rewards had better be worth it.
Don't worry, but you'd best not come back with some old nag.
Damn. Arrowhead's like right next to where I want to end the session, so like, do I do that before ending it or what? I don't know, we're going to Ratai still. I'm still on our to-do list. Yeah, play the messenger. It's pretty great. I feel like the DLC maybe slightly soured the experience for me. And then, like, the second half of the game's plot-wise was, like, a little bit of a letdown. Though, like, what you were actually doing gameplay-wise was all great. So, like, I'm not sure if I want to call it a masterpiece. Like, there's obviously a flaw right there. I just said it. I pointed it out. It was fairly obvious. The developer was obviously aware of it. But, like, it's damn close. Like, I don't do decimal points, but I'd give this, like, a 9.8, 9.9, something like that. The question is, do I follow the rules and round it up to a 10 just because it's above 9.5, or do I give it a 9? I'll just leave that in your hands. If you enjoy pixel art platformers and Metroidvanias, then give it a 10. And if it's maybe not your thing, then it's still a 9. You should definitely still check it out. Or maybe if it's not your thing, people don't like platformers, just don't like platformers. My brother's that way. He thinks that they're basic and games have moved beyond that. And all he plays are fucking shooters, which are basically point-and-click games. You want to get down to brass tacks?
Yeah.
Now, he plays more than shooters, but that's what gets him excited. Because he likes guns. He plays RPGs too. This was his game first. Got it for his birthday. I wanted to play it too, of course, but I bought this for him and he really wanted to play it. He doesn't have bad taste, he just, like, he's stupid. He's closed-minded about stuff like that, like, he's missing out on a lot of great times. Because he thinks that jumping is dated. He doesn't seem to understand that every single successful platformer has, like, some unique mechanic to it.
God.
Is there anything that I want to drop off? Why am I here? I don't think there's anything that I want to drop off, guys. We're gonna talk to Teresa when we come back, but we gotta sell shit first. Or the store's closed. Pretty sure I have a few swords I can sharpen. Yay, your favorite mini game. Sharpen the swords that are kind of beat up because we're still in that point in the game where beat up looking swords are high quality. You like figuring out whether it's at 100% or not. It drives me fucking nuts. Also, this glare is absolutely murdering me. watch can get crisper. It's probably good, actually. Yeah, it's pretty good. 98%, I'll take it. Well, this one's nice and messed up. I'll be able to tell when this one's looking alright. I'm sure this is very boring to watch, but it's also a little satisfying to do. To watch the sword get repaired. Or maybe you feel it too from across the screen, because it's not like I'm doing anything other than hammering the space bar. Gotta be something like watching Forged in Fire or anything on the Food Network. Come on, where them sparks at? It was weird, I was seeing both sparks and smoke, which smoke means bad, but sparks mean good. Like, which is it, dog? Got it now. Let's get that blood off my stinger at least. It doesn't need repairs too bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. I might just tell him to go back to the mill. This dog fucking blows. Freaking hate being reminded that I have to feed a living creature. I'm trying to escape from reality. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm not trying to escape from reality. That's not why I play video games. I play job games all the time. I'm a proud lover of Death Stranding. There, nice and clean sword. I gotta get all this shit off my horse because the game isn't smart enough to have combined inventory. I'll keep a cumin bow. And I'll take this. I only buy weapons. That's all I about. Ugh. Using arrows and those things. Okay.